Hello, fish friends. Welcome back, and to those first-time viewers, welcome. um, I want to jump right in tonight and go over some of the things that has been happening with me. Kind of explain my situation for those first-time viewers. Um, I'm an amateur at the hobby. I don't really have any experience per se, so I'm learning on the fly. I decided to go get not an aquarium, some aquariums. I don't test my water. I keep an eye on my fish. I spend hours staring into the tanks. I'm disabled, so unfortunately right now, till tomorrow, I have time. So, the cichlid tank. If you've watched any of the past videos, then you know Popped Eye and all them. I had a lot of problems with them, although it seemed like they kept wanting to bounce back and forth. Come to find out that it was kind of a major issue. One morning I woke up and flipped on YouTube, decided I was going to try to, get some more knowledge about the hobby, and I ran across a YouTube channel, The Fish Doctor, Dr. Richmond Lowe. He's a certified veterinarian, aquatic veterinarian. So I believe he specializes in aquatics. He posted this video about fish tuberculosis, and I'm like, what? Excuse me? How does a fish get tuberculosis? So, that led me on a search because, automatically I'm like, wow, I'm starting to see exactly what's going on in my tank. And, he gets to the part where, he starts informing you that it's zoologic, which means that if you're not aware that it can be transferred from fish to a human being. And although what I found out later through a lot of research is it's a slim chance. It's a slim chance. In most cases, it's because the fish keeper had a wound, a open wound on his hands or his arm while in the tank. So I had an open wound. Now, I haven't been to a doctor. I'm not going to flip out. I'm going to keep my eye open, for like the sores. There's like a seeping sore, and you get this horrible rash, and it's curable through months, if not years, of antibiotic treatment. And as of right now, it's not known to be resistant to any antibiotics. It's a rare thing. Mycobacterium Marinum exists. It's not tuberculosis, but it's in that family, I guess. So I'm not really concerned about it because I got a really, really good immune system. I don't get things like poison ivy and all that jazz. Chicken pox and measles. My mom used to keep me home and let me stay home with the kids that had them. She was old school, I didn't need a shot. I had a mother who would invite the sickness into the home. So I thank goodness she did. Because I don't get sick a whole lot, so I'm not sweating it. I'm not worried about it too much now that I understand what it is and how rare it is. But I wanted to touch base because if you've never heard of it and you just happen to be flipping through this and you're like, what's that? And it's rare. It's rare because as soon as I went looking, it was it's this horrible thing, and you really don't want to get it. And it is a horrible thing, and you really don't want to get it. When he said months to years of treatment, I'm like, wow, that's really hard to get rid of. So it set me back a little bit, and I have some concerns. Could it be in the other tanks, this and that? Because I was swapping nets and this and that. I don't really see anything going on with the other tanks. Other than the guppies that did die on me, but as I said, this tank was brand new. It was uncycled. I was pushing it. I had a really high stock rate, and no biological system set up in it whatsoever. Nothing running. It's all fresh, all new. So I think that was just ammonia in poor conditions. So what I've learned is not to be in a hurry. I mean, you really need to let that tank cycle. And if you're going to do it a fish in cycle, do it one fish, and give it a month, and then add another fish slowly. Now, as far as the cichlids go, I think that came in with the albino. The way I understand it is they get like the wasting disease. And they appear to be real heavy. Now, from the get-go, this fish was never where it was supposed to be, which is, mid-shoal or mid-column. It's a mid-column fish, the way I understand it. I'm not an expert, so please don't anybody flip out. But, he was always on the bottom. And then, I got to reading deeper that's the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, that's kind of a sign that this fish has had it for an extended period of time. Other symptoms, I had another fish that was swimming, and he would do, backflips, and he would spiral and dive, and just like he was on meth or something, or something weird. Like he had lost his mind, like he couldn't figure out up from down, left from right. And that became concerning also. We had the thing where I thought it was ick, but I think it is another symptom of the TB. And it just, to me, I was like, that's enough. So I'm not going to waste any time trying to fix them or anything like that. I euthanized them. Right now I'm in the process of bleaching the tank. I did some research on this. Everybody says to get rid of things, but I'm disabled. I'm not. And, given enough time in bleach solution, nothing's going to survive that anyway. Not that I know of. And if it does, then it deserves to be there. So I just dumped after the fish were dead. Let me clear that up. I just dumped bleach in the tank. I left everything run. Now it destroyed the sponge filter, but I'm sure I can find a replacement sponge of some sort and use the base. I let it sit in there for like 2 days, and then I emptied it out, to the bottom what I could get out. And then I filled it back up with water, and I let everything run for a few days. Now I've unplugged everything, and it's still got water in it. I'm gonna throw away the decorations, but I am gonna try to keep the substrate. I think given enough time, once I rinse this out, I'm gonna fill it back up, and I'm gonna add some more bleach, and I'm gonna leave it sit for a couple days. Sooner or later, it's gonna kill everything. I wipe it down, I dip and I wipe it down, and I leave it sit. I don't rinse it because contact time is most important. Now that might be overkill. I don't know, but if you haven't looked at anything on the internet about this, then don't. The wounds are nasty. You don't want to see it. So what I would suggest is, have good hygiene in your fish room. When you're done in a tank, wash up. Or if you're not bleach sensitive like me, I get out, I clean everything, and I rinse it in super hot water. I turn my water heater up and a little bit to where it's hot. It's hot, and I fill up my sink. I put some bleach in there, and I leave it sitting there for 5 minutes, and then I rinse it off with really hot water, and then I let it dry for a day before I use it. I try to stepping it out to where I'm not in multiple tanks with the same equipment in the same day. I give it some time to dry. I give it some time to kill anything that might be living on it. And so far, it seems to be working out with the rest of these tanks. I don't see any issues with them as long as it's been going on and as fast as it took off in that tank and got a hold of the rest of the fish, which were perfectly healthy before the albino cichlid came on scene. Yeah, I mean, except for Pop Eye, and if you go back and look, Pop Eye recovered. He was getting color back and everything, and then bang, he turned gray again and got sick, and they all went nuts. And it was kind of hard, you know, because I spent a lot of time looking in these tanks, and it was a little hard to put the fish down. You know, I got a lot of animal friends, and it wasn't that easy. I have gotten a little attached to my fish. You know, I find it peaceful, like gardening, so, and growing things. There's a peace in it for me, so that's why I do it. And hopefully I'm just going to get better and better at it. And I know some of you might pipe in and say, well, you know, you should start by testing your water. You know, if you go back, you'll see, sorry about that, you'll see that, you know, I'm in a temporary situation, so when I find a more stable place, someplace that is better, you know, situated for long-term residents, I'm going to get into planted tanks, because, you know, that's my niche, is growing things. But I like this. It's supplementing right now for the small area where I can't really grow anything. So, you know, it's doing its job. And, you know, that's all I have on that. I'm out. I'm done. I got nothing else to say. So let's have a look at the fish tanks. Alright, so first off, as always, the 5-gallon Walmart. The pothos in it is finally rooted. It rooted a while ago, but it's doing well. I don't know if I've touched on that with everything going on with the fish. But I got a lot of juvenile and fry, small fry in here still. I've been calling out some, moving them around, trying to lower the load on this system. It's got to be close to building up. It has to be. I mean, this thing, even with small fish, it's only 5 gallons. So I've been moving some around, and I took a couple out tonight that it looked like they had notches in the tails or something. Even if it wasn't a physical notch in the tail, the coloration appeared so I don't want to further breed that. So I called them out, and they'll go stay in a big 150-gallon tank over at a friend's house, and that's where that's where they'll be. Let's go to the 10-gallon, and I'm gonna take a minute to find something for these dogs to do. Alright, in the 10-gallon Walmart, let's see, we got some fry in here that are juveniles anyhow, that I believe are males. You know, they don't really have their, what I refer to as their pals. You can probably pick up what I'm laying down there. They don't really have those, but you know, as young as they started getting their collar and everything in their tails, the spots and such, you know, there's a smaller one in here too. It kind of leads me to believe that they're going to be males. So I'm separating out the males and putting them in this 10-gallon for right now. Because I want to have virgin females, and I want to be selective. I don't want to have a whole lot of fish, you know, at one time in this little place. So I'm going to weed them out. Like I said, I got a vacation spot for them, or forever home for them, you know, in a huge tank. So it's not like anything bad's going to happen to any that I don't want. But, you know, I got limited space, so I can't have a whole lot, even though I want a whole lot of different types. I'm gonna have to do a little at a time and just enjoy them while I got them and figure out something new from there. But some of these are starting to look really cool. If I could get them to come into view a little better for longer, it'd be great. But they're starting to get some patterns and some color that's standing out. I don't know where they all went. These two are right up front though. Hams. There's one in the back somewhere. She was there, or he was there, rather. And they are getting some, you know, some colors. You can see the blue on this one. And there's a couple small ones in here somewhere. I swear. There's Up. He's kind of hanging out back there. He just loves to hang there. That's his spot right there. There's a little one. And you can see maybe that he's just got a couple little spots on his back of his tail right there. And if I can catch these guys. Anyway, they're starting to look pretty good. I'm excited that they survived and everything's looking good right now. There's a smaller one. So, I mean, if they don't end up getting their pals, you know, I spend enough time looking in these tanks that I'll figure out that they're female. And I'm pretty sure these guys right here are not females. But we'll see. Let's go over to the next ones. Alright, the 5-gallon contour or portrait view, however you look them up, they get all kinds of different names. Anyway, this one's doing pretty good. It's as you can see, getting towards its time for a water change. Everybody in here is doing good except for shrimp. I'm gonna wait till I get moved someplace else to get any more shrimp. I don't know. As hard as it is to move them guys around and get them acclimated, I'm gonna wait until I'm in a little more stable position, because they're kind of expensive and, well, you know, I don't want to keep killing things, to be honest. So that's not the goal here. So it's looking pretty good. I seen they had some air plants out at the store and this and that, and I plan on getting some, and maybe some live plants for this, and I don't know. Or I might just wait till I get moved. We'll see. Never know. The betta is doing pretty good. Oh, yeah, as you can see, I put a couple fry in there that I wasn't happy with. They'll stay in there until I get ready to go over to my friend's house, and I'll take them. It's giving him something to do. Now, he is a male betta, and yeah, he showed some aggression when they was first put in the tank tonight. But you know, that's the thing about fry. They're like crackheads. You can't catch them. So, it's great. I mean, they're going to be in there a minimum amount of time. Not for a long period of time. And, it's nice to have some place to separate these guys out. As you can see, maybe I can get this come into a little better focus. See that notch like in his tail? I don't know if that's a real notch out of his tail. And I think it is. I don't know how it got there, but he's had it since he was little itty bitty, and it's not getting any better. There's another one in there. I don't know if that's a real notch out of the other one's tail, but actually that notch looks a little worse. He might have got a hold of him a little bit. That looks like a little, but you can see that spot that runs vertical, that like line down towards the bottom of his tail is like bare. Now that's not ripped, that's still got material there. There's just a little hunk out of his tail. But that's kind of why I called him and put him in here. I mean, hopefully it'll grow back. If not, well, shoots and ladders. So that's all I got on this one. You know, this one seems to be doing okay. It's due for a water change too. It's getting close to its time. And I found these at this frog bed at the local lake, and I was surprised that it came back to life. I scraped it off some wood, brought it home, cleaned it up, and put it in here, and it was only like 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if I put this in a video or not, but it's already spreading, so we're happy about that. Especially for this tank, it's going to help out a lot. And then let's go over to the 20. Yep, not much going on with it. It's a sad sight. Oh well. I don't know if I'm going to do cichlids for a while, because if I do them again, I'm going to go to a breeder. I'm going to find a breeder and I'm going to verify him. And it's a little more expensive, but, you know, from what I've been looking into, I mean, I've seen side-by-side comparisons, and you can see a huge difference in between, you know, like a good breeder and the cichlids you could buy out of a store. So that'll probably be the way I go. I did like having them, and I will try my hand at them again. And okay, that's all I got to say.